All right, let's start out with the Shannon Sharpe thing though. I think that's gonna be light. Start off nice and light, nothing too crazy. Let's see what he's talking about.
Shador spoke to the media today and had a couple of notable sound bites. Listen to what Shador on critics saying that he didn't have the talent to be selected at the top of the draft. Let's take a listen to what Shador had to say, Ocho.
NFL quarterback you could be. I mean, thank you for saying that, because I don't like, my job here isn't to prove people wrong. Like, I prove myself right. That's and I fully have self-belief, and what those people say, that's just their opinion. So I don't truly care. They don't really live in my mental space about that type of stuff. It really doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I like that. And that's what I tell people. Your job is not to prove somebody wrong. It's your job to prove yourself right. And if you prove yourself right, in the process of proving you right, you'll prove them wrong. And that's the thing that, you have to learn. And it's been a process. Stop worrying about what people that don't know you think.
I think a lot of people have.
Stop worrying about that, because Ocho, you heard me say this. I want people to love. I just need the people that I love to love me.
Come on now.
See, you trying to, and obviously, the elephant is not in the room. He outside, but everybody knows what I'm going through. A lot of people have a lot to say, but as my brother been calling me, a lot of people, and thank you everybody that's reached out and the thoughts and prayers. I sincerely appreciate that. But when you think about it, Ocho, man, 50% of the people don't care that you got problems. The other 50% glad you got them.
Come on, Pastor.
So now
what? Pastor, take your time.
Come on, Pastor.
I agree with Shador. I'm not worried about. Look,
he chilled out.
Right. This is where I am. I'm in Cleveland. 31 other teams that didn't select me, and I understand that there's some teams, Cincinnati and Baltimore, and certain teams weren't in the realm for quarterback. I get it. I'm not talking about those. Thank you, Cleveland, for giving me an opportunity. Because sometimes all you need is an opportunity. And now what you do with that opportunity will tell us who and what you are. But the thing is, Ocho, is that, you have to learn that I'm learning, and it's still a learning process, is that you got to drown out the noise, man. You can't be concerned with everybody, because everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody think they know you. They really do. Everybody think they know you when they really don't. They heard this or they heard that. Have you ever talked to Shannon? Have you ever been around with Shannon? Have you been around Ocho? Have you been in Ocho's presence? So what makes you think you know him? How well do you know him? So Shador, just go do your thing. That's all. That's all they can do now, Ocho. It's about playing. At some point in time, the talking will stop.
You got to play.
The playing will start. The cream will rise to the top, and then we'll have something to talk about. But right now, I don't really.
Yeah.
They keep. I think sometimes they keep.
I like most of what he said. I don't really have much to challenge Shannon Sharpe about right there. Just some general reaction. Do I start with the it's not your job to prove people wrong, it's your job to just prove, that you're right, and in the midst of that, you'll prove people that they're wrong. Let me start there. Why not? I respect that. But the thing is, it's circumstantial, people. That's not a clear across the board rule. I'll tell you why. The whole thing of innocent until proven guilty with a act like is the circumstances in court, for example, we all know that's not the case. All right. If you walk into the house and the moment you walk through the door, your girl puts a text message in your face. Who is this bitch? That text, what, you know what I'm saying? You think immediately her reaction, her thoughts, her whole energy towards you is you're innocent until I can prove you guilty. No, you're guilty in that situation until you could prove that you're innocent. That's what she's on. And it's compounded when you're a public figure. And I'm going to get into the thing about people thinking that they know you. That's going to be the second point that we're going to lean on. But sticking with the whole innocent until proven guilty versus the other direction of that, okay? And you notice he was kind of getting into that lane, and Ocho's like, come on, Pastor. And he was like, you know what? I gotta stop making this about me. Let's get back to Shador. Smartly, to be honest. But you will be convicted in the court of public opinion. People will determine that you're guilty. Everybody has access to your business, social media, the internet, the access that we have to these celebrities, and that also comes with being a public figure. I've been there in certain scenarios, in certain situations when I could get on social media, I could get onto it, I could look at the YouTube comments when I have like certain controversies around me, and I've been like, what? This person is saying, who is this person? Or this person just said something completely wrong. Like I'll read shit about myself sometimes where somebody will dead have some shit that's like, oh, the hat that he had on May 12th stream was blue. And I'm like, it's fucking red. Like that's the type of shit that people do to you. And people will misjudge you, they'll miscalculate you, they'll misrepresent you. And that's part of being in the public, all this access, and drowning out the noise isn't easy. Okay, we're human. So we come online and we see this stuff, we see comments, we see people trying to tear you down. It's not easy. But the whole thing in Shannon Sharpe's scenario, remember all the details that are being presented, some of which Shannon Sharpe and his lawyer publicly put out there purposefully. When he did that initial statement and he said, look, I'm here to be transparent and I'm here to address it, his lawyer later on came with an interview and said, I put Shannon up to that. That's one of my tactics. I believe that the fans and the public will be able to see the truth through you. So go ahead up there and speak your truth. Now, later on, when we kind of picked apart the video a little bit, it didn't look too good. The fact that he kept looking to the side and reading, right? You're trying to give us a genuine, transparent moment and you're reading it. I get legally, you got to be very careful. Every single syllable could be used against you in this lawsuit. So I understand why you read it. But I'm just trying to say this. He knows that he has to address certain things, him and his lawyer. Yet there's times where we want to look at the public for creating their own realities. And that's just the nature of the fucking beast. It sucks. People will create their realities. They will create their truths. They will go as far as creating their own facts. I don't care what I see in the video. That hat that ARP wore on May 12th was blue. It sucks. It sucks. And when you look at the specifics of his situation that have come out publicly so far, the truth is it just doesn't look good yet. Now he's going to get his opportunity to fight his side and present his side. And if more details come out publicly for us, we'll look into it. And if he could turn the tide and make people say like, oh, no, this wasn't just about him being a sugar daddy and grabbing up some young girl or possibly being into, BDSM behind the scenes, or maybe choking people and threatening people behind the scenes, we'll see. But it is his responsibility, if he is to remain a looked up towards public figure, it is his responsibility to turn that tide for his fans and for the general public that watches him, because his brand, his reputation is tied to his endorsements. It's tied to his sponsorships. It's tied to his livelihood. It's tied to his success. Didn't they say in the background some of his sponsors that were being promoted behind him have vanished? They're gone. They had to retract and pull away. We see that he had to step down from his daily show or his weekly show, right, with Stephen A. Smith. So that's what happens when your reputation is tarnished. So yes, you do have to fight for your name. You do have to fight for your respect and your reputation. It ain't just about, well, you know what? These people don't know me anyway. Yeah, you can get away with that if you just have a job or you're skating through life. And I shouldn't say skating through life. I should say moving through life, and you're not a public figure. But when some of your success is determined by your reputation, your name, and how people look at you every day when we click this podcast, yeah, you might want to address things. And then y'all ask me, why was ARP always addressing shit back in the day? That's why. I wasn't going to let y'all play with my brand or play with my reputation, because it was tied to my success. Right? Now, the whole thing about these people that don't know you will judge you, and that's just the ways of the world. Yeah, I guess that's tied into my first point a lot. And here's the big difference. The big difference is fans, supporters, your viewership, when they see us, when they see you, when they see these big celebrities on TV, when they go all the way back with you to your football days, and then when you had your sports announcing job, and then fast forward, you're on there with Skip. You have your show with Skip, and then you have your show with Stephen A. Smith, and then you have your podcast, the Shay Shay Club, and that takes off after the Cat Williams interview, and then you have this podcast here, daily, weekly, whatever, with Chad Ocho Cinco, right? You're this public figure, and when we watch you for all of these years during your career, what happens is people create a perception of you. It's not far-fetched to feel like you know somebody after watching them for 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years. Some of us feel like we know these celebrities. We know their tendencies, we know how they're going to react. We can predict some of their movements because we've seen them, move about within the cultures or in the world for so long. We can predict Drake is going to respond to certain backlash by getting on his burner account and being petty towards somebody. You can you see now that's tied to his way of dealing with things at times, which is associated with his character and personality, good or bad. So you start to learn things about people over time through their actions in front of us in the public. That's how it goes, Shannon. So what do I mean by all of that? When we see a Shannon Sharpe, for example, up on these podcasts and these shows, having a certain presentation, clean, sarcastic, cool, funny. Another great example of that would be like a Shaq, somebody that just seems like a prankster, always joking, always laughing, always having a good time. And then if some news reports and headlines come out that show, yo, he got this audio that leaked of him threatening some little white girl to choke her, or who was it? Was it Mel Gibson? Right? Or you got the Mel Gibsons or the Hulk Hogans of the world, audio leaks. And we hear these racist rants about them, calling people niggas and whatnot. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You got a racist bone in you? I never saw that. I saw you on TV. You had black people around you and you was cool with them and everything. And then in the privacy of your own home, it's these NBA owners that we've seen that got caught out there on audio as well. Same shit. So it's like, wait a minute. What's this? What the fuck is this? I preach a lot of positivity, and almost never do you catch me on these cameras over all these years endorsing violence. Yo, you want to know what you should do? Drake, you should go in top 5. Y'all should go figure out where Kendrick Lamar is, pull up and do something, get back. You never hear me talk like that, right? You guys don't see me push violence. You see me constantly say that life is precious. I don't endorse the taking of one's life. Now imagine if something came out, a news clip, and you found out I done shot up the supermarket because somebody cut me in line. You'd be like, damn, we've been watching ARP blog and podcasts for like 13, 14, 15 years. I never got that from him. That ain't him. That ain't like him. I didn't listen to other bloggers talk about I didn't listen to like this very, very old interview. It's just clicking in my mind as a reference. It was 3 Letter Man. I think 3 Letter Man was interviewing an owner from URL. It might have been Beasley. And it's like maybe 10 years, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, but it's an old interview. And he's asking, he's like, man, because URL and RBE had a rift from day one, right? It just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, right? But he's asking him in an interview, he's like, yo, ARP, he's not really a rah-rah guy. He's a cool-headed, laid-back type of guy. Can't y'all get on the phone and just like cooler heads prevail, because you come across like kind of like a diplomat, and the way you talk and present yourself too, right? Neither one of us present that energy on camera. Who we are behind the scenes is whoever we are, but we don't present that on camera. So that was 3 Letter Man's perception of me. And he's right. I don't walk around, carry myself like a rah-rah person. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't present that at all. I don't give off that energy at all. So if you guys hear that type of shit about me, some news article come out, some of y'all will feel like y'all knew me all this time, and now this is opposite. It don't make sense. It don't line up. I'm kind of ranting a little bit about this, but that's the point of even clips like this and us building. I see that, and I'm just like, yo, I respect the statements that Shannon Sharpe said there, but there's more context to what's going on, and he said what he was supposed to say. But I just wanted to get in the weeds of the realities of this world when you are a public figure.